Hi guys, my name is Steph and welcome back to my channel. This might be a hard video for me to film because I have got my cat, Oliver, staring at me. He might meow, he might try and jump onto the many piles of books I have in front of me, but we're just gonna hope everything goes okay. I bought books from a lot of different places this month. Like sometimes I will really only buy books from Amazon and QVD, but this month I bought from lots of different places, so I'm very excited to get through. I'm gonna try and keep this as condensed as I can because I'm lazy and I really don't feel like editing this weekend, but let's jump into it. Now, some of you may remember from last month's book haul, I mentioned that I had set some rules in place to avoid buying a fuck ton of books. Unfortunately, while those rules worked perfectly in April, they did not carry through to May. In May, my book spending went right back to insanity and unmanageable, and I did buy quite a few books from Amazon, which I generally have been trying to avoid, but here we are with a big old stack. So first, let's jump into the two that I think I'm probably most happy to own, and that is Shield of Sparrows and Rights of the Starling by Debney Perry. These are the hardcovers. I bought these as Amazon returns, so as you can see on this one, I had to get them because of the sprayed edges. This dust jacket is ripped, cool, and this dust jacket is ripped here as well. Now these, I think I got them as Amazon damage returns for, I think they were 30 a piece. They're retailing for 49 each, brand new. So I did save some money by just accepting the shitty dust jackets. I was gonna try and do some repairs, but I'm lazy and work this week kind of kicks my ass, so that'll be a weekend job if I get around to it. This is just a standard romantasy series about a woman who is a princess and she's kind of married off to a prince, but on the journey there I think she ends up bonding with the man who's supposed to take her to her new husband. So yeah, really excited to have these ones. I also purchased Yesteryear from Amazon. Yesteryear follows a woman who is a tradwife influencer, except she's not really a tradwife. She has a lot of help behind the scenes to make her life look as perfect as it does. And one morning she wakes up and everything about her life is very familiar but also very different. I don't know entirely what this book is about. I've heard that she travels back in time, but I'm thinking that she probably wakes up in an alternate universe where like technology didn't progress and science didn't progress, in a world where she has to be a tradwife and she'll realize like she's kind of making a mockery of being a tradwife. I think that's where we're going with this book. I also picked up Molka by Monica Kim. This is another new release about a woman who I think she finds out either her boyfriend or her co-worker or both use hidden cameras to spy on women, and this kind of sets her into a fucking violent rage, and she won't stop until she gets revenge on these men who have violated these women. And I really liked The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim, so I'm very excited to try this one. Then I picked up The Laws of the Skies. I read this book like 2 years ago. It's a fun little novella about a group of 6-year-olds who go on a camping trip with their teacher and a couple of chaperones, and while they're out there, one kid is like, this is the perfect opportunity to do what I've always wanted to do, and kills everybody. It's short, it is very gruesome. It's not really a fun kind of book. It actually is quite depressing and sad, but I liked it enough to buy it. Then I have Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. I keep thinking back to when I read The Butcher last year. It was such a standout, memorable book for me because it was just so well written and executed perfectly. So this is one of hers that I've had my eye on for a couple of months, and I decided it was on sale on Amazon, like on a deal, like it was cheaper than normal. I thought, Steph, just do it. So this one follows a woman named Gio whose first love was convicted as a serial killer, and it's 5 years after the fact. He has escaped from prison, he is on the run, and there is a trail of dead bodies leading back to her. He's coming for her, and doesn't that just sound so exciting? It does to me. I'm very excited to read this one. Next, I purchased The Caretaker, another new release. I listened to this as an audiobook from my library this month, and I loved it so much. Like, I flew through this in a single sitting that as soon as I finished reading it, I ordered this book, which is really weird because I did not like We Used to Live Here at all. This one really just, it ticked every box to me. We follow a woman named Macy. She is really struggling for money, gets this job as a caretaker for 3 days and thinks, fuck it, the money is amazing, it's 3 days work, what could go wrong? There are a lot of rules in taking this job, and Macy does not follow rules very well, and every time she doesn't follow a rule there are consequences. And it was like a creepypasta campfire sort of book. I really enjoyed this, so I really wanted to buy it. I'm very glad I did. And the last one I have from Amazon is called True Crime Story by Joseph Knox. This follows an author named Evelyn. She wants to discover what happened to a 21-year-old college girl who went missing and was presumed dead 7 years earlier. But this book is one of those really fun ones that's told in like interviews, newspaper articles, social media posts, texts, and it very much reminds me of Penance by Eliza Clark. So I'm very excited for this one. Do I want to start it this weekend? That's crazy. I've got so many other books to read, but I am very excited to try this one. I only bought a single book from Big W this month, which is bizarre. I usually buy like at least a couple from Big W, but the only one I purchased from Big W this month is called Dissection of a Murder by Joe Murray. This has been blowing up on the thriller book girl socials. This follows a man who has been accused of murdering a really well-known, really respected judge, and he decides on a lawyer, and he says, "You are the only one I trust to be my defense attorney." And it is her first murder case, first of all, but second of all, from what I've heard, he has an alibi. He has an explanation of how it's not possible that he committed this crime, but he refuses to tell her until they're actually on trial. I've just heard that this is a really fun, fast-paced debut, so I'm very excited to read this. I was very surprised to see it at Big W because like everyone had been talking about it, and then I went to Big W and there it was, glistening like an angel. So I picked it up. Then let's go through some QBD books. I only bought 3 books from QBD this month. The first one is Tradwife by Sarah Langan. So this is the second Tradwife release we've had this year, and I do plan on maybe reading them back to back with Yesteryear in a vlog. We'll see if that ever comes to fruition, but this follows a journalist who goes to a farm to interview a tradwife who has like her whole setup on this farm, and really sus things are happening. There is some weird entity or creature or presence in the farmhouse, and the journalist is pretty sure she's not going to survive. Very excited. I really like this cover, and I'm surprised. I thought that this had already been released in America, but I saw someone today who unboxed an ARC and said that it comes out in August, I think. Look at Australia getting new releases before America. That's crazy. So that was from QBD. Then I was at QBD last week with my brother, because I always do my book shopping with my brother because he indulges my bad habits. I finally picked up Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. I've had my eye on this book for like at least 2 years, but I've really had my eye on this book for the last couple of months. This follows 2 boys at a boarding school, one who creates these fairy tale stories and the other one draws the monsters from these fairy tales. And lol jokes, these monsters start coming to life. So these 2 boys are going out to the forest around their boarding school every night to defeat the monsters that they have collectively created, while they're also falling in love. And we love a soft boy romance, and I love gothic. Is like biological horror the right word? Environmental horror? I like environmental horror. So I was very excited. I picked this up, and when I went to go pay at the register, the guy who was checking me out was like, all of my co-workers have recommended this book to me, so I have high hopes. And because I was already there, and because I was already buying a C.G. Drews book, I also picked up Hazelborn by C.G. Drews. This is similar energy, different story. So we are following, again, 2 boys. One is living with his reclusive billionaire guardian, and the other lives next door. Now, the guy next door did try and kill our main character a couple of years ago, so he is like strictly forbidden from hanging out with him, but he low-key has a crush on the guy who tried to kill him. Then the guardian dies, and our main character is like, who killed my guardian? I need to figure it out before I'm next. And he thinks he's going to get the boy next door to help him figure out this murder, but there's also going to be suspicions that it was him who committed the murder. I'm saying a lot of words. I don't know if any of them are making sense. And C.G. Drews has a book that's, I think, already released in the US, but is coming out as a paperback in September. And it is an adult horror, environmental romance situation, and I'm very excited. So I want to read the YA ones first. So that is almost all the books I bought brand new. Let me just jump into these ones, and then we'll move into the secondhand books. The last books that I purchased brand new from a retailer are 2 books that I got from the Blush book boxes May overstock sale. So the Blush book box is a romance book box that operates out of Australia. They do ship to the US and all that sort of stuff, but they don't have a monthly subscription. They have a monthly release that you can go onto their website and order as it comes out, which I kind of prefer because that means I'm not locked into a subscription, and as long as I'm there early for the sales, like, you're pretty much guaranteed to get the book. So first we have The Lovely Return by Carrie Nicole. So this is the Petite Romance edition. The cover is like entirely glittery and sparkly and is beautiful, and she's sprayed. And it did come with a little book plate. So this book, I'm pretty sure, follows a guy whose wife dies and he begs for her to come back, and she kind of does, but reincarnated in like a child's body or something like that. I know it's an age gap romance. I know there's like a paranormal element to it. I wanted to read this for a while, but I really did not like the cover. So I have the audiobook already, but I saw this and I was like, how can I not? I'm not even a sparkly, glittery girly. You can hear that little bell ring. That's my cat licking his balls, or lack thereof. But I really wanted this one, so I bought it in the sale. And the other one I picked up in the sale is Medicine Man by Saffron A. Kent. Would I recommend this book? I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't go out to anybody, any romance lover, and say, hey, Medicine Man's a really great book. In hindsight, it probably isn't a great book. However, when I read it, I did enjoy it. I remember reading it and I was like, this is so trashy and I love it. It's about a girl who is a patient at a psychiatric hospital, and the romance she starts with her psychiatrist. Isn't that just so inappropriate and forbidden and just like the best type of trash, the best toxic trash? Now, the cover I currently have is this cover, which has a man face. I am straight, right? Straight as the dick.
Straight as a dick.
I hate men's faces and men's bodies. Oliver, can you stop moving my camera? Now I don't know where this cover is gone. When I find it, it is going to be on hold because this cover is so much prettier. So yeah, we got some gold foiling, we got some cute artwork, we got some sprayed edges. So I was like, fuck it, this is the time to get this book. I can't stop looking at him. He's licking his little bum hole. It's so gross and so cute. I would film it for you guys, but he's a boy who needs his little private time. He's just a sweet little baby child. Anyway, let's move on to what I found secondhand this month. So the first books I have to show you that I found secondhand are actually a trilogy that I found on Facebook Marketplace. Now, I actually owned the first book in this trilogy a few years ago, unhauled it a few years ago because I just didn't think I was ever going to get around to the series. Like, in all honesty, I sat down with myself and I thought, I'm never going to prioritize this series. But in the last few months, I can't stop thinking about how this might have been the perfect series for me, and I never gave it a chance, which is something that always runs through my head whenever I unhaul a book. But I found them for a really good price. So the trilogy is the Caraval trilogy by Stephanie Garber. So we have got Caraval, Legendary, and Finale, and I think that these books are, like, they're in brand new condition. They are perfect. And I got them for $5 each plus, I think, 15 shipping. So $10 a book. And like I said, like, they all match. I think they're so cute, and I'm very, very excited to own these because, I don't know, I just have a feeling. I feel like it is my time to love Caraval, so we'll see how we go with those. The next little group of books I purchased from the Book Grocer. So the Book Grocer is an Australian outlet for books, I guess you could say. They do have in-person stores, but the one that's closest to me is just the warehouse where they stock books. So whenever I do order from the Book Grocer, I usually just go and pick them up because I'm not going to pay $10 shipping to go pick something up that's 15 minutes down the road, you know? So this order was placed online. I went to go pick up in person, so I found 3 horror books that I'm very much interested in. First, we've got Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I've been trying to read more Stephen King to try and figure out if I love him or I tolerate him as an author. Like, I loved Misery. I tolerated Carrie. So I think maybe Pet Sematary will be the deciding factor, but this was a secondhand copy. It is, like, in perfect fucking condition. Next, I picked up The Between by Tanana Reeve Dew because I read The Reformatory last month and it fucked me up. And that is one of her newer releases. This is one of her older releases. This is from, like, the 90s, I think. Maybe earlier, 95. So this came out the year before I was born. So she's been writing for a really long time. This follows a guy who almost drowned as a kid. His grandma sacrificed her life to save him. And I think since that accident or that incident, he's been able to see other people's deaths, possibly. Either way, I think this cover is so cool and I love this edition. I really want to get The Exorcist in this edition, but it is so expensive. So anyway, the last book I got from the book grocer is Hull House by Richard Matheson. Now, I follow so many book influencers that it's so hard not to be influenced. I have the amount of people that have said this is the OG haunted house book. Like, even Stephen King on the front says it's the scariest haunted house novel ever written. I've heard so many people say that if you like horror, if you like haunted houses, this is the book you read. This book was written in the 70s, but apparently it still holds up so well today. This follows a group of paranormal investigators going to an allegedly haunted house. I've heard that, considering this was written in the 70s, it is graphic, it is sexually explicit, and it is horrific. So I'm so excited to get into this one. This is one I've seen at QVD a fair few times, but I wasn't really sure if I wanted it or not, and then more people started talking about it, and I bit the bullet and I purchased it. I would really like to read this. Sometimes I look at the books that I've purchased in a month and I'm like, I made good decisions. I don't like looking at my bank account, but I made good decisions. The next chunk of books that we have, I got from World of Books, which is an online secondhand bookstore, book retailer. It is, I think, the UK and Australian version of Thrift Books. I don't know if the US World of Books is different from Thrift Books or they're under the same umbrella because the websites look similar to me. Anyway, I first just ordered these 2 books because they had a deal where it was like buy one, get 15% off the second book. So first I picked up Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. I've always known Chuck Tingle as the guy who writes like stupid funny books, like The Day My Butthole Fell in Love with My Twitter account, like those stupid ass books that me and my brother used to make fun of. Now he's like a legit author. Very excited. So this follows a gay conversion camp, except apparently that's not at all what it's about. It's about like the things happening around the camp. But I was very excited because when I opened it, I found out that it's got a little signed book plate. So that was a cute little surprise. And in that same order, I purchased For Human Use by Sarah J. Pearce. This book is going to be a weird girl book. It is quite the thick book. It follows, well, it's about a dating app, or it's about an app that comes out that's being compared to Tinder, except you are swiping on photos of dead bodies. And if you swipe right on a dead body that you like the look of, the cadaver will be delivered to your house. I don't know if it's intended to be like a necrophilic situation. I don't know if it's intended for like another presence or like companionship, or if it's for cannibals. I have no idea. Like, I don't know what the purpose of the app is in the context of this book, but it sounds like the right kind of fucked up for me. So I'm very excited to read this. So I bought those 2. I was happy, I was vibing, and then I was like, let's go see if there's anything else in World of Books that I want. So I picked up The Grip of It by Jack Jemp. This is another haunted house novel that a lot of people refer to as like one of the good ones. This follows a couple who are in trouble because the husband's gambling addiction has gotten the worst of him. So they very, very quickly move into this new house. And this is the kind of haunted house where it's not the house that's haunted. The house is conscious. The house is alive. The house is like actively making things happen. So it kind of sounds like the September House, but maybe a little bit freakier. Very excited. Very short book. One day, hopefully, we'll read it and enjoy it. And the last one I bought from World of Books is called Futility. This one I almost purchased on Christmas Eve last year. Me and my brother went book shopping and I saw this at Robinson's and I almost bought it, but I was like, I haven't heard the best things about it, so I held off and I've bought it secondhand. This follows a food horror. I love horrors that involve cooking and food and eating. I love cannibal horrors, just in case you were curious. So this one follows a chef at a renowned restaurant and one of her dinner guests, and both of these women are filled with fury, and then a little trickster spirit is like, well, I will give you whatever the fuck you want in exchange for whatever he asks for. Like, I will give you the gift of revenge. You can't refuse this offer, it's too good to pass up. So these 2 women get their revenge, I guess. Beautiful cover, love the eyeballs, love the colors. Just, this cover is so aesthetically pleasing to my eyeballs. So that was the last one I got from World of Books in May. I actually might have a bit of a browse tonight when I lie down and I'm watching Zachary Michael and Amberlynn Reid videos. Maybe I'll have a little scroll. So the other day I had to go to the pet store to get one of my cats like a moisturizing cream, because Miss Gypsy, who you have seen on this channel before, has licked her belly so badly that it is bald and it is now getting rashy. So I went to go pick up some cream for her, and the pet store is right next to Salvo's. So I went to the Salvo's, and the only book I found that I was interested in is Mad Mabel by Sally Hepworth. I own 3 other books by Sally Hepworth because people just keep telling me, like all the girlies at my book club, people online, booktubers, they're all saying to try Sally Hepworth books, especially this one. I've heard a lot of praise about this book. So this follows a woman who, when she was a teenager, killed her entire family, was the youngest person to be convicted, the youngest person to be convicted of murder in Australia. And now this same woman is 86 and her neighbours just turned up dead, and people are very curious as to how much involvement she had in her neighbour's passing. This was $4. What a fucking steal. Very happy with that. And now guys, I think we've gotten to some of the most exciting finds this month. I went to Savers twice this month, both during breaks at work because I work literally a 2-minute drive from a Savers and I love Savers. So I went there twice this month, and some of the books I found, like crazy good. So on the first trip I found Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Maruta. I actually already owned this book, but I owned this cover and I hate this cover, so that cover is getting on hold, and I picked up this one for $4.50. This cover also perfectly matches my edition of Earthlings. I have read this book. I wasn't obsessed with it, but I think this is one that I will definitely reread at some point and like really absorb, you know. Then I found She and Her Cat by Makoto Shinkai and Naruki Nagakawa. This is about a woman and her cat, and I think it's from the cat's POV, and the cat constantly like talking or like thinking to this person and knowing that even though they can't communicate, the human understands them. And I love cats. I'm a girl and I have cats, so I'm very excited. And this is like literally in brand new condition. Like this still had a Dimmick sticker on the back when I picked it up. So very excited. That was like $5. And lastly, I found No Longer Human. This is one I've been wanting to pick up from QVD for a couple of months now. Like every time we go there, I look at it and I pick it up and then I put it down. So I'm just, the fact that I found this at Savers, I grabbed it so quickly and literally held it to my chest as I walked around the store. This is a semi-autobiographical book about a man who just doesn't feel connected to his humanity anymore. As the title says, he no longer feels human. He feels disconnected from society and human connection, and just feels aimless, like he's floating. And it's actually really sad because a couple of months after this was completed, the author himself actually did commit suicide. So I've heard a lot of people say that this is a super dark, depressing book. Luckily, that sort of thing works for me, but I do really want to read this because I also want to see what Junji Ito's manga adaptation is like, because Junji Ito usually does really like graphic body horror, and I think this is more of a psychological horror, so I would be interested to see how it converts. So I found those 3 on my first trip to Savers. I also found a paperback of Twilight and a hardcover of Midnight Sun because I'm doing some book bedazzling with my mum this weekend. But that was my first trip. I went there yesterday. Now yesterday, actually this entire week, I have been very fucking depressed. I called in sick on Tuesday because I didn't want to get out of bed. Wednesday, I was literally just a grumpy, sullen, quiet little troll at work the whole day. And then Thursday, I was also really sad and depressed, but I thought, Steph, you cannot let yourself sit in this depression. Let's go book shopping. So I moseyed on down to Savers. I found 6 books. I usually do not come out with a haul of 6 books at Savers. If I can find a single amazing find, it's a good day. Finding these 3 books, I was like, holy fuck, like what a fucking steal. But then yesterday, I don't know, man, it's like the book gods smiled down at me and said, sweet child, you've had a bad week. Let us gift you some books. So let's go through them. First, I found Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Mass. I have been tossing up whether or not to buy this book for literal months. And then I found it for $5, so I picked it up. I can't really tell you what this is about. It's about a Spartan war academy where monsters are made, immortality is won, and even a god can die. I am such a Greek mythology girly, so obviously I picked it up. because it was like $5.50. So that was very exciting to me. Next, I only picked this up because it was there and it was cheap. This isn't like, if I was not buying any other books and this was the only one I found, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. It's Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. I don't like sports romances. I think that genre of romance is so oversaturated right now. I'm also really over how many book adaptations we're getting these days. Like, every single fucking book I've read lately has some announcement about being turned into a movie or a TV show, and like, can we just relax? Just relax. Anyways, I found out after purchasing this that this is the second book in the series. Why is the TV show named after the second book in the series? Like, does the show only follow this book, or does it follow the first book and they just picked this type? It annoyed me. I'm not going to go back to try and find the first book and read the first book. I'm just going to read this book if I ever do read it. But like I said, I only picked it up because it was cheap. This is, I don't know, two hockey players who are on different teams and are supposed to hate each other because sports. But they're fucking in secret, and apparently that's fucking iconic and some sort of new idea that no one's ever heard of before. I sound so shady. So sorry. Next I picked up this book. I genuinely have never seen this book before, never heard of it, but it looks so exciting. It's called Bullet Train by Kotaro Isaka. This follows 5 killers all getting onto a train. And are they all going to be alive by the time the train stops? I don't know. So we are following a teenage boy and viciously cunning psychopath, a father determined to exact his revenge, the unluckiest assassin in the world, Tangerine and Lemon, who are a deadly duo. All on the same train. Why are they there? Who's going to make it to the end alive? Who's to know? I'm going to assume that at least... Well, I'm thinking that the father determined to exact his revenge is going to exact his revenge on the teenage schoolboy who's a psychopath. Because I'm thinking he's probably done something to his son. I'm very excited either way. Like, even the cover, it's just so cool. It's so cool. Oh, it's soon to be a major motion picture. Fucking kill me. Either way, that was just like exciting to find. Then I picked up the Penelopiad by Margaret Atwood. I'm in my, if you can't tell, Greek mythology era. I have been for like the last 30 years, but especially with the Odyssey coming out this year, I'm very excited. This follows Penelope. While Odysseus is like trying to make his way back from Troy and fucking around with the Cyclops and like Scylla and fucking Calypso, Penelope is just like sitting at home being a loyal bitch waiting for him to get back. This follows Penelope and what actually happened while he was gone, and why he killed 12 of her maids on his return. I didn't know that part of the mythology. He comes back, he slaughters all of Penelope's suitors, fair enough, and then kills 12 of Penelope's maids. Fucking why? Odysseus, explain yourself, because you sound absolutely unhinged right now. Very, very short book. Very excited to read it. Then I found Swimming in the Dark. This is one that has been on my radar as like a story about teenagehood romance, secret gay relationship, growing up, having to decide between like what everyone expects of you and who you love. So yeah, this has kind of just been floating in the periphery of my book reading world for a while, and then I found it at Savers, and again I picked it up and I went it's all mine. And yeah, very excited to read this, and I love the cover. It just gives me such like summer days, you know, your teenage days of summerhood. And the last one I found, I shit you not, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I picked up 2 different editions of this book at QBD, and I said to my brother, which cover do you prefer? And he said he preferred this cover. I said I preferred the other one, and I wasn't sure which one to buy, and I couldn't decide, so I put them both down. And then I found it at Savers, and I was very excited. It's the Virgin Suicides, guys. I do not like this cover. I actually preferred this cover, but this was like $4, so I picked it up. This follows 5 sisters, and how over the course of like, I think a year, they all commit suicide. And I'm pretty sure this is told from the perspective of a neighborhood boy who like watches them and is like, what the fuck's going on in that house? Like, why are they all killing themselves? They're just so beautiful. I think I've seen the movie, or I've seen parts of the movie. I don't remember it at all. So again, very excited to read this, and I cannot believe I found it at Savers when I was so close to purchasing it the other day. Like I said, the book gods, They smiled at me yesterday. And then today, in case anyone was curious, I actually had a really great day at work. You know when like someone at work really annoys you and you can't say anything because you don't know how other people feel or like what other people's relationship is with them, and so you just keep it to yourself? I've been keeping my feelings about a specific person to myself for a couple of weeks, and yesterday as I was leaving work, and then this morning, and as I was leaving work today, like the goss, the drama, all of the truth is coming out now, and all I'm going to say is I am not the only one who has issues with this person. I thought I didn't like this person. Other people really do not like this person. So just a little bit of like workplace gossip for you, but I thought that I was being irrational in my hatred of this person, and no, I'm not, because like every other person thinks it. It was a really satisfying end to my week. So anyways, this has been a really fun time. I think I probably talked a lot longer than I intended to. My cat has finally settled, but I will insert some footage at the end of him in case you want to see his cute little sleeping face, and I will see you guys shortly for my May wrap up. Okay, bye. Bye, fluffy boy. Can we say hello? Ooh, good morning. Oh, good morning, my friend. I love you. So if there was ever going to be a person to buy books on the 30th of May and have to add them into the end of the video, it was going to be me. I went shopping with my besties today and I bought 3 books. I bought First and Forever by Lynn Painter. This is her newest adult romance. Love Lynn Painter. I own, I think, all of her books. I had to buy this. It's a brand new release. I also had to pick up Bad Boy Era by Amy Dawes. This is the last book in the Mountain Men Matchmaker series, and I've been reading all the books and I've been loving them, and this is just so cute, and it follows the niece of all 3 men that we followed in the series so far. And then we stopped in at QBD and I found a book called Petty Lies, which is a murder told from 4 different points of view. Really short, very excited. Just thought you guys should know, if I do buy any more books before the end of the month, y'all have permission to rip me to shreds in the comments. I hope everyone else had a great month, and I will see you later.